Hello students, Namaskar and welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Satwanti Kapoor from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. Today I'll be speaking on the module Nutrition Epidemiology from the paper Applied Anthropology. The learning outcome of the modules are to understand the definition and concepts of nutritional epidemiology, 2. Deficiency diseases due to suboptimal intake of micronutrients and its dietary management. Third, non-communicable diseases, which are commonly called as NCDs, due to excessive intake of macronutrients, which is called overnutrition, and its dietary management. Now, first of all, we will discuss briefly about the concept and history of epidemiology. Now, the word epidemiology comes from two Greek words, epi meaning on or upon, demos meaning people, and logos meaning the study of. But the underlying principles and public health spirit of epidemiology is defined as epidemiology as the study of the distribution and determinants of health related states or events in specified populations and the application of this study to the control of health problems. Now, nutritional epidemiology studies the role of food and nutrition and in relation to disease in human populations. Nutritional epidemiological research involves the role of food and nutrition in etiology of diseases, access and monitor the food consumption and nutritional status of populations, measures to prevent, control and improvement of health, develop interventions in order to maintain healthy eating lifestyle, and also to analyze the association of nutrition and physical activity in relation to various diseases. Now, history of nutritional epidemiology. I'll give a very brief history of this topic. Epidemiology is the study of the distribution and frequency of diseases in human populations. Nutritional epidemiology examines the association of diet and our health. Earliest epidemiological investigations dates back to more than 2000 years ago when Hippocrates conducted a clinical trial to observe the cause of a disease and belief in notion that health depends on magical influence. Lind in 1753 observed that scurvy was caused by deficiency of vitamin C when he conducted one of the earliest clinical trial with lemon and oranges. Milestones in classic epidemiology include John Snow's 1813 to 1858, who studied the spread of cholera due to polluted water and suppresses the outbreak of the disease 44 years even before the discovery of the casual agent Vibrio cholera. All of you must have heard about tuberculosis. Now, Robert Edward Koch gets all the credit to find out the etiology of tubercle bacillus in 1882, which resulted in improved environmental conditions and intervention for preventing transmission of certain microorganisms. Casimir Funk in 1912 investigated the deficiency of substances which he called vitamins. They may cause diseases such as sprue, beriberi, rickets, pellagra, etc. Epidemiological observation thus has provided the insight into the diet-disease relationship and the cause and prevention of diseases. Earlier, epidemiologists focused on the etiology of infectious disease, but since early decade of 20th century, they shifted to chronic disease and remarkable contribution have made to the understanding of nutrition-related diseases as well. Band and Dieberg studied coronary disease in Eskimos and observed that it was uncommon despite their high fat diet, and later found that omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil is responsible for low plasma lipid level in their diet. Hospital-based case control study in 1950 showed that smoking was an associated factor with lung cancer. So, epidemiology play an important role, and its evolution has led to the development of specialized areas like environmental, clinical, psychiatric, genetic, occupational within the epidemiology. Now, nutrition and health related disease, we'll speak on that. In developed countries, excessive intake of macronutrients, which is called as overnutrition or overeating in layman's language, and suboptimal intake of micronutrients, hidden hunger, leads to obesity and related non-communicable diseases, NCDs, is a global burden of disease in a developing country because of the coexistence of undernutrition and related deficiency and infectious diseases, along with overweight or obesity or diet related non-communicable diseases as a result of nutritional transition. Now, nutrition, in addition to other factors such as unhealthy lifestyle and environmental factors, influence health and well-being. However, it is important to realize that nutrition is a major, modifiable and powerful factor in promoting health, preventing and treating diseases, and improving quality of life. Describes the different form of malnutrition and the diseases associated with the same. Malnutrition is a condition resulting from faulty nutrition either due to deficiency or excess of one or more essential nutrients, or to a failure of the body to digest or absorb the food from alimentary tract. It can be classified into three categories from nutritional standpoint of view, that is undernutrition, overnutrition and micronutrient malnutrition. There are three main types of malnutrition that has been discussed here: undernutrition or micronutrient deficiency, overnutrition and micronutrient malnutrition, macronutrient deficiency, undernutrition. Undernutrition occurs due to inadequate calorie intake or due to non-availability of nutrients, maybe due to frequent infections, other metabolic tissues or endocrine disturbances. One common form of micronutrient deficiency is protein energy malnutrition, which is called as PEM. We also refer to it as PCM, protein calorie malnutrition. Now, protein energy malnutrition is often used as synonym of malnutrition and undernutrition. Most important factor resulting to PEM are inadequate diet and infectious diseases affecting all segments of population, particularly from the backward and downtrodden communities who do not have proper access to food. PEM covers a wide spectrum of conditions from growth retardation to marasmus and kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor, diet predominantly deficient in protein, often leads to a condition which is called as kwashiorkor. Although it occurs in older children and adults, it usually affects children aged 1 to 4 years when they are weaned from breast milk to adult diet. We call weaning when the mother stops giving breast milk to the child and the child starts eating solid foods. Now, clinical features of kwashiorkor are growth failure, edema and mental changes. The main sign is edema usually appears first on the feet and leg and eventually spread to hands and face. Other symptoms include skin lesion and hypopigmentation, and in severe cases the epithelium peels off, leaving behind depigmented patches. The hair shows changes in texture and curly hair becomes straight, easily pluckable. Diarrhea is a common phenomenon which occurs due to secondary infection and defective digestion. Now, second situation is marasmus. A diet deficient in calorie and prolonged starvation results in a condition called marasmus. It may also occur due to chronic infection with marginal food intake, which affects the indigestion or absorption. It is more common in children below 2 years of age. Main cardinal features include severe muscle wasting, growth retardation, and loss of subcutaneous fat. In the picture, it shows children suffering from kwashiorkor and marasmus. The child suffering from marasmus appears very thin because most of the muscle mass and fat have been expended or spent to provide energy for vital functions or for day-to-day activities. Now, associated vitamin deficiencies are, however, very common. Now, micronutrient malnutrition, it refers to a group of conditions caused by deficiency of essential minerals and vitamins. The most common type of micronutrient malnutrition in India and in most developing countries include iron deficiency anemia, called as IDA. Now, nutritional anemia is a major public health problem affecting all sections of the society. It is defined by WHO, World Health Organization, as a condition in which hemoglobin content is low as a result of deficiency of one or more essential nutrient, regardless of the cause of deficiency. The major cause of nutritional anemia is due to deficiency of iron, vitamin B12 and vitamin C. Now, burden of anemia are not only confined to pregnant women but affects other segments of the society as well. Adolescent boys and girls, women in reproductive years, infants and young children, and pregnant women are in vulnerable groups. NFHS3 reported prevalence of anemia as high as 55% in women aged 15 to 49 years. Now, 24% in men aged 15 to 49 years and 70% among children aged 6 to 59 months. A deficiency of iron increases the incidence of maternal death by 20%, increases the risk of premature delivery and low birth weight. According to WHO, 12.8% maternal mortality in Asia are attributed to anemia. It's a very high figure. Iron-rich supplements are a must for prevention of anemia. Oral iron or low doses of iron, multivitamin supplements, folic acid, vitamin A and zinc are recommended. An adequate amount of diet and sufficient calorie and a good quality protein should be given to people, especially in vulnerable ages. Promotion of breastfeeding measures to improve family diet, distribution of supplement, routine immunization of children, and periodic surveillance of child diet should be encouraged. Vitamin A deficiency, termed as VAD. Now, vitamin A deficiency with a variety of manifestation is widespread in the world today. Deficiency of vitamin A leads to xerothalmia and night blindness among young children has become major public health problem in developing countries including India. The term xerothalmia comprehensively includes all ocular manifestations of vitamin A deficiency. The most contributing factor is due to inadequacy of vitamin A or its precursors like beta carotene. Vitamin A deficiency predominantly occurs in children due to common childhood infections like diarrhea, measles, and infestations like giardiasis and ascariasis. The different types of vitamin A deficiency includes night blindness (XN). Symptoms include inability to see in dim light, either at dusk or dawn, due to impairment in dark adaptation. If vitamin A is not administered properly, the condition may get worse, especially when child suffers from diarrhea and other infections or chronic health problem. Conjunctival xerosis X1A. Symptoms of conjunctival xerosis includes dry and non-wettable conjunctiva. When the eye is exposed for about 30 seconds, the tear is described as emerging like sandbank at receding tide when the child ceases to cry. Often it may be associated with muddy and wrinkled conjunctiva instead of shiny and smooth. Now, Bitot spot X1B. Symptoms of Bitot spot include dry triangular patches, white or yellowish foamy spots on the bulbar conjunctiva on either side of cornea. Next is cornea xerosis X2. It is characterized by the presence of dry and non-wettable cornea, and the changes starts at the lower level of the eye. Cornea ulceration X3A. Cornea acceleration may occur if corneal xerosis is not treated properly. This is a further stage. These ulcers may be circular and sharply demarcated, initially appear to be shallow and may lead to perforation resulting in prolapse of content of eyeball if it becomes deep. Xerotomalacia X3B. Xerotomalacia is characterized by liquefaction of cornea. Cornea may become soft and may end up in extrusion of intraocular content or complete atrophy of the eye. Now, dietary management and prevention. The most sustainable solution is regular intake of adequate food, sources rich in vitamin A or its precursor B-carotene, such as dark green leafy vegetables like spinach, which is called as palak, drumsticks, agathi, Sesbania grandiflora, yellow and orange colored fruits, animal foods such as fish, liver, dairy products, egg yolk are advisable. Now, nutritional education programs are a must at community level to increase awareness and improper consumption of vitamin A foods. Such intervention programs should include aspects such as breastfeeding, immunization, and utilization of the available primary healthcare facilities to control infections and infestations. Another strategy is the food fortification or enrichment of widely consumed food with vitamin A. Fortified food can be integrated into the conventional food system as value added product to reach large section of the society. However, in India, fortification approach has been limited to few food items like milk and vanaspati. Next is iodine deficiency disorders, IDD. Iodine is an essential micronutrient and deficiency of which causes a wide variety of neurological and physiological development. The term iodine deficiency disorder was introduced by Hetzel in 1987. The major clinical manifestation of iodine deficiency is goiter, defined by non-inflammatory enlargement of thyroid gland. For clinical assessment, goiter size is assessed based on the palpitation of thyroid and classified as grade O, no goiter if it is not visible or palpable. If palpable but the size is less than the distal phalanges, grade 1, not visible when the neck is in normal position but palpable. The size of the enlargement of gland should be more than the size of the distal phalange of the thumb of the subject. Grade 3, visible from the minimum distance. Environmental factors such as environmental iodine deficiency and goiterogens, substance which interfere with the metabolism of iodine in the body, leads to endemic IDD, while intrinsic factors like hormonal imbalance, failure to synthesize the thyroid hormone contributes to sporadic cases. Iodine deficiency disorders include a spectrum of disorders such as goiter, retarded physical development, impaired mental function, juvenile hypothyroidism in children and adolescents, psychomotor defects, congenital anomalies in fetus. This present picture shows the enlargement of thyroid gland. Iodine deficiency disorders can be prevented by fortification of food items with iodine or by direct supplements is a way out. Fortification of food items like wheat flour, drinking water, milk, bread. And the oldest control measure is to iodize the common salt with potassium iodate. Iodized oil is also available for oral or intramuscular injection. Water soluble vitamin deficiency disorder. Vitamins are essential for several physiological and biochemical functions. B complex vitamins are water soluble vitamins and are easily excreted and do not have adequate stores in the body. Some of the water soluble vitamin deficiency disorders are thiamine, vitamin B1 deficiency disease. Now, deficiency of thiamine causes beriberi and the severity is determined by the degree and duration of deficiency. Cardiac beriberi or wet beriberi is characterized by biventricular heart failure, peripheral vasoconstriction, wide pulse pressure and edema. An acute form documented as pernicious beriberi is characterized by sudden onset of cardiac pain, restlessness and peripheral circulatory failure. Atrophic or dry beriberi is often prevalent in India and its symptoms include numbness, loss of function or paralysis of lower extremities due to multiple neuritis. Both the type of beriberi show muscle degeneration, loss of motor function and loss of sensation. Etiology of water soluble vitamin deficiency include inadequacy due to poverty, faulty cooking habits, losses due to storage, impaired absorption, due to chronic diarrhea, metabolic functions such as genetic abnormalities, metabolic stress. Now, vitamin B1 deficiency can be prevented by adequate food source of thiamine, which is sufficient to prevent any of the deficiencies. Parboiled rice and unmilled rice are excellent source of thiamine and hence should be encouraged. The most appropriate approach to meet the nutritional need is to encourage consumption of inexpensive and locally available food and to educate the public to improve their dietary and cooking habits. Now, riboflavin vitamin B12 deficiency disease. Deficiency of riboflavin is widely prevalent in low income group of the population in all age groups. Clinical manifestation of riboflavin deficiency includes ocular symptoms with characteristic itching, burning, fatigue and eye strain. Other symptoms are shiny red mucus of lips with cracking at the corners of the mouth, known as scoliosis, and roughened skin around the mouth and nose. For control and prevention, diet rich in riboflavin such as meat, milk, pulses and other dairy products are recommended. Now, nutrition and non-communicable disease, which are called as NCDs. With the economic development, rapid urbanization, food security and increased healthcare services in developing countries, there has been decline in undernutrition related diseases, but by no means they have disappeared. They are still lingering on. In undernutrition diseases, by no means they vanished, they are still lingering on. However, these factors on the other hand have exacerbated the development of chronic diseases, also known as non-communicable disease, due to unhealthy diet, sedentary lifestyle and lack of physical activity. Now, NCDs are now a major global burden in public health. It has been reported that in 2001, 60% of the 56.5 million global deaths were from chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, hyperlipidemia, hypertension, cancer and diabetes. In both developing and developed countries, due to nutritional transition, unhealthy dietary and lifestyle pattern, chronic non-communicable diseases have become principal global cause of morbidity and mortality. Now, we begin with obesity, which is defined by excessive accumulation of body fat resulting in adverse effect on health associated with other chronic diseases also. The fundamental cause of obesity is excessive consumption of high calorie food with less physical activity, that is, when the energy intake is in excess of energy expenditure. Though obesity can be determined by many other methods, calculation of BMI defined as weight in kg divided by height in meters square is widely used to classify underweight, overweight and obesity in adults. It is considered as a practical indicator of the severity of obesity or overnutrition. Obesity has multifactorial epidemiology such as genetic, environmental, psychological, age, sex and socioeconomic factors. The determinants of obesity are urbanization, nutritional transition, globalization of food production, that is the shift towards highly refined food, meat, dairy products of high level, saturated fats have together with reduced energy expenditure contributed to rise in the incidence of obesity and non-communicable diseases. Obesity is associated with other diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, cancer and polycystic ovarian diseases. Dietary prevention for obesity include limited intake of fats, elimination of trans fatty acids, increasing physical activity level, reducing intake of drink high in sugars, limited salt consumption, increased consumption of fruits and vegetables can prevent unhealthy weight gain. Now, is another health problem associated with obesity. Type 2 diabetes, often referred to as non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, is characterized by insulin resistance where the body is unable to utilize the glucose derived from carbohydrates, foods or glycogen stored in the tissues. Now, diagnosis of type 2 diabetes usually occur on the onset of middle adulthood and is associated with obesity, which leads to elevated blood sugar and it can lead to insulin resistance. This type of diabetes is the most common type and nearly 90 to 95% of all diabetic belongs to this category and is distinguished or is distinguishable from type 1 diabetes and gestational diabetes or pregnancy. Now, there is increasing reports of children with type 2 diabetes and have become serious health issues among young age. It has been estimated in the adult population that the prevalence of diabetic mellitus will rise from 4% in 1995 to 5.4% in 2025. Obesity is a major risk factor for development of non-insulin dependent diabetes. Approximately type 2 diabetic patients are either found to be overweight or obese, and impaired glucose tolerance is also common in this group. Many epidemiological research revealed that central obesity, as assessed by weight hip ratio, which is called as WHR, is associated with higher occurrence of diabetes. Diet rich in energy dense foods such as carbohydrates, which contribute to high calorie and enhance body weight, have been associated with the diabetes. Other risk factors associated with development of type 2 diabetes include physical inactivity, diet, increasing age, insulin resistance, ethnicity, family history of diabetes, and genetic factors. Now, coronary heart disease, CHD. Coronary heart disease is a condition of impairment of heart function due to obstructive change of one or more of coronary arteries, causing inadequate supply of blood to the heart muscles. Now, pathological lesion leading to CHD is called atherosclerosis, defined by accumulation of complex carbohydrates and lipids in the blood vessels. This leads to thickening of the arterial vessels of the body in cerebral, abdominal, and peripheral circulation, and thus interferes with the oxygen supply to the heart muscles, myocardium. Two clinical conditions associated with this process are angina pectoris, characterized by chest pain, and myocardial infarction, heart attack, characterized by prolonged chest pain, shortness of breath, sweating that results from prolonged total occlusion of artery. Now, risk factors for CHD can be classified as non-modifiable and modifiable. There are two of them. The modifiable factors are metabolic syndrome such as diabetes, obesity, high blood cholesterol, elevated blood pressure, abnormal glucose tolerance, stress, tobacco smoking, and alcohol consumption. Second, non-modifiable risk factors are increasing age, heredity and masculine gender, diet significantly influenced by the development of CHD, and several epidemiological studies have taken up in investigating the role of dietary factors. Quantity and quality of carbohydrates in diet have been documented to influence chronic conditions like obesity, coronary heart disease, and hypertension. Now, consuming high glycemic index food are at greater risk of developing CHD. Carbohydrates mediated their effect by reducing HDL, high density lipoproteins, and increasing triglycerides, plasma lipids, and glycemia. Now, consumption of coffee, animal protein, and saturated fat is positively associated with CHD death rate. Many other studies conducted on middle-aged men showed that risk of CHD is increased by cigarette smoking, high serum cholesterol, and high blood pressure. Non-communicable diseases can be prevented by replacing simple sugar and fat with complex carbohydrate containing food like pulses, whole cereals, roots, millet, vegetables, and fruit is recommended for preventing weight gain, control of high blood sugar and lipids. Now, high calorie dense food, processed food, sweetened beverages, deep fried food should be avoided. Increasing physical activity level along with dietary modification can reduce the development of cardiovascular disease. Now, let's summarize this module for you. Now, role of diet and nutrition are important factors for determining maintenance and promotion of a good health. Malnutrition remains the most widespread devastating problem affecting the health of children and continues to dominate the health of world's poorest nations. There is a global burden of disease in developing countries due to the coexistence of undernutrition and related deficiency and infection or infectious diseases along with overweight, obesity, and related health problems. For example, India at present faces a combination of chronic diseases and communicable diseases, where the burden of chronic disease exceeds that of communicable diseases. With economic development, rapid urbanization, food scarcity, and increased healthcare services in developing countries, there has been decline in undernutrition related diseases. However, these factors on the other hand have exacerbated the development of chronic diseases, also known as non-communicable diseases. So it's a very paradoxical situation. Now, due to unhealthy diet, sedentary lifestyle, and lack of physical activity, they contribute to NCDs. Now, NCDs are now a major global burden in public health. By 2020, the burden of NCD is expected to increase to 57%, and it has been projected for the developing countries. 71% of deaths due to ischemic heart disease IHD, 70% of death due to diabetes, and 75% of deaths due to stroke will occur. This is all in this module. Thank you very much.